because that way Christmas won't creep up on us so quickly.
Yeah, I think that's smart. If you're like me, I still had my calendar flipped to November. I looked and said, gotta tear this page out. It's too late.
Gotta get rid of November. Yep. It's December 2nd. Thank you so much for spending time with us on this Thursday. Isabel Lawrence is in for Betsy again today. I'm Jay Crawford. Isabel, a very good Thursday evening to you and to everyone watching at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us in our unintentional matching.
Yeah, we noticed when I sat down, my pocket square is an exact match with your dress.
Yeah.
Totally accidental.
There you go.
But it doesn't hurt. We start today with more troubling news on the COVID front here in Ohio. We told you yesterday that the number of new cases was our highest single day total in nearly 3 months. Well, today's number is even worse. Ohio reporting 9,131 new cases today, and that is our biggest one-day total since January 8th, almost 11 months ago. Our hospitalizations, also troubling. They continue to surge in Ohio. In fact, Ohio hospitals admitted 366 new patients, according to the last 24-hour report. Over the last 4 days, 1,500 Ohioans have been hospitalized in their fight against COVID-19. Those are startling numbers.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, another case of the Omicron variant has been found, this time in Minnesota. The patient traveled to NYC the weekend before Thanksgiving for a conference. And Jay, we're also just hearing about that third case now in Colorado.
Absolutely. That brings the total of cases to 3. Obviously, that number will continue to rise. This as the U.S. announces new plans to fight COVID. Sarah Schuchman has been closely following all of today's developments.
It's not just Omicron, but the Delta variant that's still a big concern as we head into our third winter of the pandemic. President Biden announced his plan for the season.
It doesn't include shutdowns or lockdowns, but widespread vaccinations and boosters and testing and a lot more.
The president is stressing it's time for a booster for all adults and working with pharmacies and clinics to expand availability for more appointments and walk-ins with a focus on seniors and families. All international travelers must now be tested within 24 hours of their departure instead of 72. He's also expanding free at-home testing, making rapid tests fully covered by insurance and easier to find in the community. Summit County has already been doing that, handing out more than 30,000 rapid tests through its office, drive-thrus, libraries, and community centers, so people have them on hand at home.
So you don't wait to get a test, and you don't wait 2 or 3 days to see if your symptoms get worse. Because they're free. And if you need to use 3 or 4 of them, we're happy you've used 3 or 4 of them. And so it's been very successful.
Ohio is seeing a concerning increase in cases and hospitalizations, particularly in our part of the state.
But yes, we are feeling it here in Cleveland. We are feeling that wash, and it is affecting care. I think if you look at emergency room wait times, you probably have people that are abandoning care, and so we're seeing that critical point.
Our hospital systems and the state's labs are sequencing positive PCR tests looking for the new variant.
Could it be here and we've not yet detected it? Of course, that's possible. That what we're seeing right now, today in the state, is being driven by the Delta variant.
What you can do is get vaccinated. If you've waited, now, today, it's perfect time. And if it's been 6 months or 2 months after a J&J shot, get a booster. Doing so now could boost your antibodies and perhaps even prevent a breakthrough case during the holidays, guys.
Got my booster last night, so I'm good to go.
How you feeling?
Nice.
Sluggish today. And I had nothing at all after the first 2, but today, just not there. It's, the energy level is way down.
So worth it, though.
Yes, absolutely, and I strongly encourage it. Sarah, if you would, give us some sort of an idea now as to where we are here, particularly the last couple days, compared to our worst point in Ohio in terms of daily cases.
Well, as you said right off the top, Jay, I mean, these numbers are those we haven't seen since last winter or earlier during this fall spike, just in terms of a daily count. Hospitalizations, too, are on the rise, but there are a lot of things that put us in a much better position than we were last winter. We didn't have widespread vaccination. It wasn't available to everyone at this point last December. We also didn't have the treatments that we have now. Not only the monoclonal antibodies being more available, but also some of the new pills that we've just been talking about in the last few days that are probably soon to come to market. So there are more treatments available. There are more vaccines available. But they do say, it's not just hospital beds, but staff. that they're having a hard time with this time around. They don't have the bench strength that they might have had last winter to deal with all of this. And they're seeing that more here in Northeast Ohio than other parts of the state at the moment.
Wow. Okay. Great info, Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sure, Sarah. Well, the future of Shaker Square is in limbo with the property in receivership. Two neighborhood development groups have a plan to purchase the property using public funding. But at least one tenant who tried to purchase it in the past is saying not so fast. Brandon Simmons explains what could happen next. Brandon.
Yeah, hi. Shaker Square is really a historic part of town. Obviously, its success plays a vital role in the success of all the neighborhoods that are around here. But right now, this property sits in the hands of banks who are really worried about making their money back and less focused on the success of the entire region. Now, I do want to tell you the property hasn't seen any major improvements as of late as the original owner defaulted on its loan. Courts appointed a receiver to manage the property in the meantime, but tenants say the property is in need of improvements very quickly. Now, Burton Bell Car Development Corporation and Cleveland Neighborhood Progress have a plan for the city to put up $12 million to buy out the property to help stabilize the area before a possible sheriff's sale, which could lead to more uncertainty. But one popular tenant says the city shouldn't rush to overpay and bail out banks. Here's what each side had to say.
And the community is suffering and the tenants are suffering as a result. It's either do this or wait and see, roll the dice, and our community does not deserve for us to roll the dice anymore.
The banks want $11.75 million for a property that's been evaluated at less than $5.5 million. This $12 million will go right to the bank, essentially bailing out any investor, bailing out the bank for a deal that they made that went bad.
Now, spending that money is a decision that is really up to City Council. They were set to vote on the issue on Monday, but they decided to table it until they could get more public input, which is something that will indeed happen very soon. There will be a public meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the York Rite Masonic Temple, which is nearby on Kinsman Road. At that point, we will have some City Council members there. There will also be members from both sides, interested parties, and it's really a chance for the public to really ask any questions they want so that they can understand what's at stake and what could be the future of Shaker Square.
Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. A situation we'll make sure to keep a close eye on. Thank you.
Well, right now you are looking at live pictures inside the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio. That's where in just hours, in fact, under 2 hours from now, the state high school football championships will kick off. In all, a dozen teams will play there over the next 3 days, all fighting for the Divisions 1 through 6 championships. It's part of a 3-year deal to bring the high school title games back to Stark County. Manny Abraham has been looking into the financial impact these games will have on the local economy.
It's a moment that student athletes look forward to, the chance to bring home a championship, this year at the Canton Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And the lighting, the sound, the scoreboards should all add to the experience for the kids.
This will be the site for more than a dozen high school teams, laying it out all on the field for a state championship win.
Putting your uniform on in an NFL level locker room, walking out that tunnel, feeling that experience. It's an intimate setting.
For the next 3 years, the Pro Football Hall of Fame will host high school athletes inside the stadium, recently upgraded to include 2 massive scoreboards.
Fans who have been here in the past will see an entirely different stadium with the scoreboards and everything that's going up around it.
It means 14 communities coming to visit Stark County. That brings with it a big economic boost for the city, with some nearby hotels already sold out and local businesses expecting more guests.
It's awesome. Awesome. Hall of Fame weekend especially is our best weekend every year.
Local shops like Italo's Pizza in Canton say the events help to bring in much needed business.
A lot of the coaches come, parents come, buy food for the team. So it's just nice big orders and it still helps out.
Visit Canton estimates that that the economic impact will be about $5 million. And they say it varies each year just how many people come here. But they say they're expecting between 45 and 60,000 people this weekend.
That's a big number of people, and they're going to leave a lot of money behind in the Canton area. Manny, thank you very much. As for local teams that are playing for championships, let's run those down for you. Archbishop Hoban plays for a Division II title. That game is coming up here tonight in just a little bit. Tomorrow, Chardon will go for the repeat in Division III. St. Edward will play for the big school crown. That one is also tomorrow. Then Saturday, this one has so much intrigue because Kirtland will be going after their 4th straight Ohio State Championship in Division V. WKYC will have the Chardon, St. Ed's, and Kirtland games all streaming on the website, WKYC.com. Well, still to come, what's new? The Riverfest down at Merwin's Wharf in the Flats is in full swing. But unlike their s'mores and bonfires, their staffing, along with their ice skating rink, is frozen. Austin Love is there, and he'll bring us that story.
And who pulled the trigger? We are learning more about the tragedy on set of one of Alec Baldwin's movies, who he says is responsible in the death of Helena Hutchins.
And we have Jason in for Matt today. What's the forecast go out there right now?
Hey there, guys. Well, we are 2 for 2 in December, starting out with above average temperatures. The question is, this is indicative of what we're expecting in the coming days. Well, we'll talk about it in that forecast, but 50s widespread at this hour, safely going down into the 40s. We'll talk about that forecast coming up.
Well, if you are looking for a job this holiday season, the Cleveland Metro Parks is hiring. They really need to hire kitchen staff at Merwin's Wharf, especially during their Winter Riverfest.
Yeah, it's a busy time of year down there. Our Austin Love is our food expert, so we sent him there to tell us more about the opportunities that are available.
It's Christmas time at Merwin's Wharf. The hot spot in the Flats is celebrating the 2nd annual Winter Riverfest, transforming the area with all your winter favorites like bonfires, igloos, and ice skating.
There's something for everybody.
While they aren't short on holiday cheer, much like the rest of the nation, staffing has been an issue for the Cleveland Metro Parks.
It's like everybody else, we faced a pretty big shortage this year. You know, I mean, everybody's competing for the same workforce.
Merwin's was forced to close over the summer to shift limited staff to other Metro Parks locations.
We just couldn't find enough staff to run them all.
Now that it's winter, it's shifting workers back to Merwin's for Winter Riverfest, but help is still needed.
As a kitchen staff, we need servers, bartenders, front
door host. All we ask for is people that'll work hard and show up, and we can teach you the rest of the skill.
So while I was there, I figured I'd volunteer my services for the day. Sorta.
I'm not sure if you're busy the rest of the day, but like I said, we could use some help.
Oh, you need some help from me?
Yeah, you look like you're ready to cook.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess I got a few minutes. Anything from the Metro Park. All right, sure.
Appreciate that, man.
They did say they could train anyone.
And we can teach you the rest of the skill.
See? So Chef George and I immediately got to work making some of his creations, including stuffed green peppers, but I was quickly distracted by this.
When can I graduate to this guy?
I think To my surprise, they actually trusted me to use the torch.
And then just give it a nice
You
little...
do not want to trust me with this. Here we go.
Which is essential to making their s'mores board. Take a look at that.
Oh, yeah, baby.
A mallow that ham porter would be proud of.
Then you scarf.
Killing me, Small.
I even got training in the food truck. There we grilled up a loaded hot dog and topped it off with more sugar. Their signature churro fries. A life-changing experience. From now on, I'm requesting to be paid in churro fries. I'm contacting HR currently.
Austin Love, 3 News.
Wow, that looks fun.
Ooh, yeah, I wish
Both
there
the
was
eating and the preparing.
I was going to say, we should have a field trip section just to kind of vet everything that he was saying.
Yeah, just make sure it's really as good as he says it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Sign me up for that. I'm all about that. Very good. Well done.
Yeah, yummy.
Yeah. Awesome.
And if you're trying to head down there, who knows? Maybe it's a nice night tonight to go get your own igloo.
We had a beautiful day. I don't know if it's going to carry into the night. For that, we throw it to Jason Michael. Today was gorgeous. I thought.
really
As
was.
December 2nd goes.
Yeah, by December standards, we should be topping out at about 45 degrees, and we soared above that. So by all standards, I'm happy with it. To get more sunshine rather than clouds to start out December and warmer than average temperatures, who knew, right? Well, let's talk about this. You can see over the next several hours here, things will be cooling down quite nicely across northeast Ohio. Temperatures likely to be seasonable throughout the overnight. No rain to report on radar right now, so we have a very good start to the month of December. And even the wider scan is showing much of the Great Lakes states right now are also looking pretty well. But as we move forward hour by hour forecast, notice we start to intensify in our cloud cover a wee bit overnight tonight. It'll still be sort of a calm night across the area. Temperatures going from the 40s into late evening into the 30s overnight tonight. There's the cloud cover moving back in. The rain showers and even some of the snow showers that you see behind me are going to be fetching off Lake Michigan, traversing across the area with an aerial cold front. You can see by tomorrow we start to pick up a little bit of energy, a little bit of mixing happening here. This is going to mainly stay down to the south along 71 and 77 and even 76 going throughout the heart of our Friday. Even the drive at 5, most of the activity is on out of here. So for the most part, over the next 24 to 36 hours, we have a thumbs up, my friends, with a little bit of wintry mix for tomorrow. Widespread rain is going to be moving back in by the end of the weekend with our next weather maker that's coming in. Winds gusting today, but not gusty through the evening. We've been going up to about 30-mile-per-hour gusts today, and they'll be settling down to perhaps 10 to 15 come tomorrow as well. For the most part, again, that biggest change is not going to happen until the end of the weekend. So let's start pretty big right now. You can see your National Design Mart. Day by day, we go here with a trough moving on in late in the day, Saturday heading to Sunday. Saturday, though, sun and clouds, picturesque, the perfect day to get out to start the weekend. But there's some energy happening in the southwestern corridor of the United States, that Four Corners region, that is going to fetch a lot of energy starting down to the south, along with the Clipper up to the north, and they're going to meet right across the Ohio River Valley. This is happening late Sunday into early Monday. We begin the day Sunday on a quiet note. We increase the cloud cover, then comes the rain, and then once the area of low pressure wraps on behind, that's when we get that changeover from rain moving into snow. So this system has to be watched, because if it goes farther north, rain. Farther south, more of a snow event. So again, we have to watch this one very, very closely through the end of the weekend. Your Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook showing that temperatures climb into the mid-40s by Saturday. Sun and clouds, PM rain showers likely by Sunday, near 50 degrees. But by Monday, guys, temperatures falling throughout the day, going from the upper 40s to the lower 40s.
Okay, now that will feel like December.
Oh, yes, in a big way.
Oh, no.
Excellent job, Jason. Thank you very much. Up next on What's New, keep the change, you filthy animals. Does that sound familiar? Do you get the reference? If not, and you're probably too young to remember, it's from the movie Home Alone. What if we told you there's now a way that you could stay in the famous movie house? That's next in Pop Break.
And how one artist is bringing his painting to life. We will show you in our Worth the Watch.
Hi, we're talking about your filthy animals and how you can rent the McAllister house today. I don't have on the same shoes that I have on Matt, so it's not going to be perfect placement. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, cool.
Welcome back to What's New. There's been a bit of a twist in what we thought we knew about the shooting on the set of the movie Rust. Kiara Cotton now has the latest on that in Pop Break.
Yeah, Kiara, so Alec Baldwin in a recent interview actually kind of dropped a bombshell about what he claims actually happened on set.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it's been 2 months since we learned of the fatal shooting that took place on the New Mexico movie set. At the time, it was reported that actor Alec Baldwin was responsible, but in his first TV interview since the incident, he says he didn't pull the trigger. 42-year-old Helena Hutchins was killed on the set of Rust, a Western being filmed in New Mexico. She was struck by a prop gun that was fired by Baldwin, and Baldwin maintains that he has no idea how a live round ended up on set.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
What did you think happened?
In an emotional interview, Baldwin reflects on Helena's legacy and what he could have done differently. The shooting remains under investigation and no official charges have been filed at this time. Baldwin's full interview is scheduled to air tonight. Switching gears now to romance. The first trailer for Amazon's Latino rom-com With Love has officially been released, and it's giving romance with a side of drama. The 5-episode series follows the Diaz siblings as they try to find love and purpose. One is healing from a breakup, while the other is deciding whether their current partner is the one. But with the support of a big Latino family, what could go wrong? With Love will premiere on Prime Video on December 17th. And it's time to get into the holiday spirit, you filthy animals. How about a stay at the McAllister house from Home Alone? Airbnb announced yesterday that it's renting out the iconic home from the 1990 film for one night only. Guests will be able to enjoy the holiday decor and set up their own booby traps just like Kevin did in the movie. According to the listing, they'll indulge in Chicago's finest pizza and have a meet and greet with a real live tarantula. The Chicago area home will be available to book starting on December 7th for just $25. And last but not least, here's a reminder that the sun will come out tomorrow, or if you're a part of the cast of NBC's Annie Live, tonight. The classic musical will premiere tonight, right here on NBC at 8 p.m. And the lineup for that cast is star-studded, so I'm sure it's going to be a good one.
It looks amazing. I have a question for you, though. So is it a lottery? You put $25 in for a chance to win a night? Because if there's only one,
right,
you can only stay for one night.
It'll be a packed house if that's the case.
It's got to be more than 25 bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing $25 will get you a chance to enter for the drawing. That could raise a ton of money. Because for 25 bucks, I'd throw my hat in the ring to do that.
Yeah,
I love that house. It was beautiful.
Take your chances. Jay wants in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in. 25 bucks.
Office
All right,
pool.
Key, thanks. All right, take a look at today's Worth the Watch. I thought this was so cool when I saw this online a couple days ago. As the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, this painting is leaving us speechless. The artist turns a regular cement wall into a piece of art using the little boy that you see in the video as the model for the painting. After tracing and outlining the child, he freehands a painting that turns out to be incredibly lifelike. Using a set of brushes and his own bare hands, the 3D painting comes to life with the appearance of a little boy holding a pot with a real tree coming from behind the other side of the fence. Take a look at this again as it's finished. It really is amazing.
This is incredible.
This is art.
Oh my gosh, the talent. And I mean, for him to be doing it literally with his hands too.
Yeah, and then when it's all done, it just looks like there's a little boy standing there holding a pot with a tree growing out of it. And only the top half of the tree is real, and it's on the other side of that wall.
Wow, if you were walking by that, I think you would do a double take for sure.
I know I would. It's really, really creative, and that's the kind of art I like best.
Yeah.
All right, coming up in the second half hour of What's New, the latest shortage coming to tables and restaurants near you. I think you little kiddos are going to be very unhappy when they find out why this certain item is in short demand.
Not just kiddos, I'm unhappy too. Plus, the baseball world is on pause. It's been more than 25 years since the last MLB lockout. What's in store for the future as teams and players scramble to come to a deal?
And it is all the rave at parties and events these days. Put Pinterest and Instagram away. We're teaching you how to make your very own charcuterie board, and it's going to be delicious. What's News coming right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We begin at 5:30 with 3 things you need to know. First up, a bomb squad was called to the federal building on East 8th this morning. The Cleveland Police Department and Homeland Security were asked to search a vehicle outside the building. Authorities gave the all clear just after noon and turned the scene over to Federal Protective Services.
This afternoon, President Biden rolled out a new plan to fight COVID-19 through the winter months. Some of the actions include COVID testing for travelers. Anyone arriving to the U.S. from an international flight must test negative within 1 day of their flight, regardless of their vaccination status. The mask mandate has been extended for planes, trains, and public transportation throughout the winter. They also plan to expand the booster campaign with more outreach and appointments.
And you are looking at live pictures right now from inside the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium. That's in Canton, where the high school football championship games are getting set to begin. 14 teams in all will play over the next 3 days for titles in Divisions 1 through Division 7. 4 local teams will be scrambling for those crowns. It's part of a 3-year deal to bring the state championship football games back to Stark County. Visit Canton estimates this will have a $4 million impact on the local economy. And that is certainly good news for them. And with that, we welcome you back to What's New. Isabel Lawrence is in for Betsy on this Thursday. I'm Jay Crawford. Beautiful weather outside today. It was gorgeous. If you wanted to pick a day to do your Christmas lights, today was, I think, the choice day because other than that, you got the 30s and 40s. Today was great.
Today was great. It was really refreshing to open the coat closet and not have to do the parkas. So, I can do the lighter jacket today.
It was nice. Just a light jacket was all that was necessary today.
Savor it while you can, though. Won't last
it's not
for
going to
long.
be here for long.
No, it won't. All right, well, now to our top talker. Get your chicken tenders while they're hot because store shelves are going cold. It's the latest food item to fall victim to supply chain issues. Industry experts say tenders require more processing to package and sell than chicken nuggets, which is why tenders can be harder to find or they can cost more. The price of a pack of chicken tenders has increased nearly $1 from last year. Major retailers like KFC and A&W are taking tenders out of their promotions. Oh, no.
No, I love tenders.
We sound like 4-year-olds right now.
Listen, I eat like a 4-year-old still.
Really?
I love chicken tenders. Okay. I mean, they're nice go-to, you know, if you want something quick and easy. This is just the latest, though, Isabel. It's like every item that you can think of. Beef prices went up, milk, eggs, everything, no matter what you're talking about. I haven't found one item that's cheaper now than it was a year ago.
Yeah, you have to feel for all those restaurants too, even if it's the KFCs of the world or the mom and pop shops that are trying to maintain their menus here and they can't get these products to the door.
Yeah, I saw a local restaurant posted just a couple of days ago. If you're concerned about our higher prices, we're not doing it to make a buck. We're doing it to stay in business.
Right.
That's literally where they are. So you probably felt the pinch even when you go to sit down at a restaurant, no matter what you're ordering. Odds are very good that that price of that meal is more expensive and considerably more expensive than it was last year at this time because these restaurants are doing everything they can to stay in business.
Absolutely.
They're paying more to get the products. So they've got to sell them for more money to us, and that's how inflation starts to grow on itself, really.
Yeah, eat local if you can. Go out and support those businesses.
Absolutely.
It's such a challenging, year and a half at this point now.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Okay, our next top talker, the lockout that is now engulfing Major League Baseball. So here's the treetops version, if you will. The owners voted unanimously yesterday, 30-0, to lock out the players. Their current collective bargaining agreement expired last night at 11:59. The owners actually voted slightly before that to start this lockout. So here we go. So what does that mean? Well, essentially it means the industry of Major League Baseball is at a complete standstill. The teams cannot sign players, they cannot trade players, and none of this is going to move forward until the two sides come to an agreement. If you're looking for what they're arguing about right now, it really has to do with the length of time a team that drafts a player is in control of that player. So currently, if a player is drafted, his major league clock starts ticking once he's called up to the major leagues. And that team is in control of that player for 6 years. And for a team like the Guardians, that length of time is critical because they can't afford to re-sign their superstars. We always see our superstars sign with bigger markets because they can afford them and we can't. We just lost Frankie Lindor because of that. So now at 6 years, the Players Union wants that to be much sooner. And that could be a big problem for Cleveland baseball moving forward. Here's Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred.
I don't feel frustrated. I'm disappointed we didn't get to an agreement. That's different than being frustrated. I think we're in a process. I'm prepared to continue that process, and I'm optimistic that we're going to get a deal.
Boy, I hope so. I'm what they call a seam head. That means baseball is my game. I love baseball over any other sport. Played it my whole life, still play it. Love to watch it. But I am very fearful that we could have an extended lockout. The one thing that neither side wants to test right now, the patience of the fan. Because in 1994, which was the last time we had a work stoppage, the last lockout was in 1990. In 94, it was a player strike. We lost the World Series in 1994. Oh. And that cannot happen again. And there's no indication that it will go on that long and cost us the entire season. But when April rolls around, this country is ready to turn the page to baseball. Football's been over for a couple of months. If there's no baseball, you will see the fan base with all kinds of anger. And it won't be directed at just one side, the owners or the players. Both sides are going to feel it. So I really hope, for the sake of the game and the fans, that these two sides, billionaires and millionaires, can meet somewhere in the middle and don't take away our pastime.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, especially over the last year and a half here, the impact that having the national pastime can have on morale in the country. Having something to have a routine for, to look forward to come together to watch. So the impact of potentially not having that is a huge blow on so many different levels. Yeah,
it was one thing for fans not to be able to attend games because of the COVID protocols. It's another thing altogether if we can't sit at home and watch baseball.
Just no games,
The fan base of Major League Baseball is aging out. And they know that. They know that the average age of the diehard baseball fan is by far the oldest of the three main sports in the United States. And they're not doing a good job of cultivating new young fans. And this is certainly not going to help. You cannot miss games in Major League Baseball.
All right, well, next, Browns Chief of Staff Callie Brownson is beefing up her resume, the new coaching gig she will head up this summer.
And charcuterie boards are an extremely popular appetizer. I know, I love them. Our Emily Mayfield shows us ways to jazz up our own boards before that next holiday party. But first, hello, Jason.
Oh, hello there, Jay and Isabel. Where charcuterie boards do sound good, especially for this time of year, but it's the weekend that we have to hone in on. The numbers are in. See behind me, 56 for today. We'll talk about tomorrow because it's going to look much different.
Welcome back on your Thursday evening. Let's check in with the weather here. Jason, today was one of those days where you thought, maybe December in Ohio isn't that bad.
Exactly, especially for us newbies here across Northeast
Right.
Ohio. It's kind of like, oh, is there a taste of this that I want more of? Well, you know, models predicted that we're going to be warm today, but how quite as warm we got today? My goodness, up to 56 degrees today. It was lovely. It was mild out there, but it's not going to stay. We're going to be cooling down quite nicely as the cold front is moving through the area here. I'm only going to show you a couple graphics here, maybe a handful of graphics to kind of paint the picture of what we have coming up across Northeast Ohio. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast will take us comfortably into the 30s overnight tonight. That is average, my friend. That is where we're supposed to be for this time of year. 45 for the high, 32 for the low, hovering right along the freezing mark. You can see that we start to get a little bit of mixed precipitation happening tomorrow morning. Certainly as temperatures cool down, you'll have more of a freezing mark type of air mass well inland rather than along the lakeside. Water slowly moderates, but surface temperatures along the land, they're quickly to change over here. So that's where we're going to see the most of the energy happening across the area, well down to the south for tomorrow morning. That fetch is coming off of Lake Michigan, and then high pressure moves back in to complete the work week heading in towards the weekend. For the most part, it's going to be a relatively nice start to the weekend. Sun and clouds expected on Saturday. You can see 40s likely. Rain moves in on Sunday with this system that we're watching out of the Four Corners region. You can already see here on the 5-day outlook here as far as rainfall is concerned. Much of the energy really starts to crisscross the area as we head towards the end of the weekend. So where is it happening right now? Let's start with a broad view. You can see where this ridge is out towards the west and southwest. Energy is already going to be starting to churn here. You can see over towards the south, moves into Texas by late Friday heading into Saturday, and then it crawls right up the Mississippi River Valley. And then on top of that, we have a system crisscrossing the northern border, and that will clash over our area late Sunday into early Monday. This area of low pressure really needs to fine tune itself because it's really going to tell us what happens here. Could it be all of a rain event, most of that area down to the south, or will it be a snow event? On the backside of it, for sure, snow is likely on Monday heading into Tuesday. And then behind that, you guessed it, another marriage of another system happening midweek. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this is where our eyes are. This is where our focus is going to be in terms of how much snowfall we get across the region and how much of it will likely be rain. The Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook shows, again, sun and clouds. By Saturday, a beautiful day, upper 40s, low 50s by Sunday. 40s, falling temperatures by Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, guys, it's going to be cold. It could be snowy for some, but again, we have to watch it.
All right, so maybe that's more of the winter that we should be expecting as newbies here, Jason.
You guessed it.
All right, thank you.
Oh, wait until January. You guys are going to love it. All right, time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hello there, Stephanie.
Hello there, Jay. I'm just laughing about the winter that's coming for these guys. Sorry, guys, but you're here now, so we're happy to have you. Okay, hardly a surprise here. Cleveland Cavaliers center Evan Mobley is getting high praise from the NBA today. He has been named the league's Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month. This is for games played in October and November. Mobley is the first Cavs rookie to win the award since Dion Waiters in February 2013, and only the 7th Cleveland player to win since 1981. Oklahoma City Thunder guard Josh Giddey won for the Western Conference. And we are sending a big congratulations to Cleveland Browns Chief of Staff Callie Brownson. She has been named the head coach who will take the U.S. Women's National Football Team to the 2022 Women's Tackle World Championships in Finland. This is the 4th time for this event, and the Team USA won gold the first 3 years, and Brownson wants to get that gold again. As I said, the games will be in Finland in July and August of 2022. And Cleveland's airwaves will soon say goodbye to a rock and roll radio legend. Bill Lewis says he's retiring at the end of this month from 98.5 WNCX. He said yesterday, everything has to end sometime, even something that means as much to him as hanging out with his listeners, who he thanked for being the greatest rock and roll audience in America and told everyone he loves them. Bill hosted Cleveland's Classic Cafe with lunchtime requests and a bit of rock and roll trivia every afternoon during the week. Now, Jay and Isabel, he said his health is fine. He's just a little tired.
I can imagine.
After 411 months, so that's more than 34 years in the business. So he's going to take a little break.
I remember when I got my first car, The first radio, in the old days, you used to set the radio station, then pull out the tab and push it in. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about right now. That's how you would set the favorites on your radio.
Okay.
And the first one I set was 98.5.
Aww.
Yeah, it used to, now it's WNCX.
Yep.
Used to be WGCL, I think.
Okay.
I'm definitely dating myself.
Well, don't feel too bad, Jay, because I didn't know until that long ago that my radio was a touchscreen, so I just figured that out.
Technology.
Well, yeah, you know what, though? You've seen that video where they hand a young kid a rotary phone, and they're looking at it like, what do you want me to do with this?
Yes.
I'm guessing neither of you ever made a phone call on a rotary phone.
My grandparents had one, so I did.
There you go. That would be the
I
only
guarantee
situation.
Isabel has
Much
not,
older
though.
than Jay.
Perhaps not.
All right. I'm old, you're young.
All right.
Next.
Yeah, moving along.
Thanks, Steph.
Maybe I have not used a rotary phone, but I am very familiar with all things food, which brings us to Emily Mayfield. She's continuing her Exploring the Land series, and this time she is taking tips from a pro charcuterie board maker right here in Northeast Ohio. We'll show you how to wow all of your friends at that next holiday party.
I'm looking forward to that. I really am. Then, the pandemic put a beautiful art project on hold. Today, it's finally ready to show off. A look the hard work from some local students is coming up in our Show Us Something Good. Welcome back to What's New. Time for Emily Explores the Land. This is something that really took off during the pandemic. We talked about it a lot on the program here. And now it's hard to scroll through any social media feeds without seeing pictures.
Yeah, and it's making me very hungry. So we are talking about charcuterie boards. And today, Emily Mayfield learns some tips and tricks of the trade as she tries her hand at building one.
The holidays are here, and over the next couple weeks, many of us will be going to parties and gatherings with family and friends. What better dish to take than a beautiful charcuterie board? Today, I'm learning how to make one, and so can you. Let's go. Okay, so I am here with Rachel Balco, the owner of Westside Charcuterie. Tell me about Westside Charcuterie.
Westside Charcuterie started last February. I started to realize that charcuterie in the pandemic had become wildly popular. Since then, I have made boards and grazing options for individuals all the way up to 200 people.
I am a lover of charcuterie boards. I never make it pretty. Are there certain go-to ingredients you always use?
I think it'd just be easier to show you. When you're selecting your cheeses, you want to make sure that there's a wide variety of textures and flavors. For hard cheeses, we have a nice Pecorino Romano and then an aged Gouda. You said that you like spicy, so
spicy.
we
See
did
those peppers.
Yeah, we did a habanero cheddar. Next, we're going to work on our charcuterie meats. Today I chose some thinly sliced calabrese salami, prosciutto di Parma, and then for our little bit of spicy and the texture around the rind, we have a peppered salami. Let's just put a few little slices of this truffle salami, say 5 slices of this peppered salami. So we have our cheeses, we have our meats. Let's move on to some fresh and dried fruits. So let's start with these grapes.
And these really kind of are like the fillers, right?
Yeah, so these are the things that are going to fill in the space on your board. Citrus and apples are some of my favorite seasonal fruits to put on like a winter board. So just filling in the spaces.
So you really don't want much of the board showing.
I like for it to be abundant. We also want something salty and something sweet. So I have some salt and pepper pistachios for us. And then for something sweet today, I have these really pretty maple cream cookies. I have a rosemary infused honey. Final item is your garnish. And we can just kind of fill in what little space there is with the herbs. Look at you, you're a pro. And now you're done. Look how beautiful your board is.
You did it. Do you teach classes? Is there somewhere people can kind of get some of your tips?
Yes. So I am getting ready to start teaching some tutorials, which should be a really fun time. We'll, sip wine and make some charcuterie boards that you can take home.
Well, Rachel, that was so much fun. Thank you so much. And for any family or friend gathering this holiday season, there is a charcuterie board for anyone. So cheers to that. Thank you.
Oh, man. Well done. Emily, we are literally sitting here right now with our stomachs grumbling. That looks delicious. Yeah, the fruit looks so fresh.
I know. I love that you're doing the fruit and I'm all in for the cheese.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My wife's big on the cheese too, man. She just never met a cheese she didn't like. I love the fruit. I love all of it. I just think it all goes really well together.
Yeah, complimentary.
Yep, very complimentary. I'm a big fan. I didn't even realize that this was a thing until like maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And now, if they're on the menu at a restaurant, it's ordered.
Getting one?
Yeah, it's
All
happening.
Right.
It's absolutely happening.
That's good to know. Well, maybe you can make your own because we also have some, I think, web extras. Rachel showing Emily how to make actually roses out of salami. There's a good one.
Yeah, that looks cool.
WKYC.com, you can find that. Posted a special cut of that story to teach you how.
All right, very good. We asked our What's New Facebook fans to share some of their boards. And you know what? Our co-host Betsy Kling decided that she would send a picture of one of her charcuterie boards from the past. It looks like she has 2 here. One is more traditional with the cheese and the flour made out of pepperoni. The other's a little more fun, has a lot of veggies, some fruits, nuts, and even the M&Ms. I would be going right for the M&Ms.
That one, yep.
You can share your pictures of your charcuterie boards of the past by going to our 3 What's New Facebook page. And from time to time, we like to recruit new members. So I'll throw the invitation out right now. If you would like to join our 3 What's New Facebook page, you know how to do it. You go to Facebook and then you look for groups and then you type in 3 What's New. Is that what it's called, Mo? 3 What's New. Yes. I always get that confused.
That is,
so
yes,
I have to ask. But you then ask to be accepted into the group, and we have very low standards. Everybody that asks, we let in.
It's a welcoming
Just be nice, and you can stay for a while. That's how we work
good.
it. Okay, still to come on What's New, a project 2 years in the making is finally coming to life for a group of high schoolers after being put on pause because of the pandemic. A look at all of their hard work. It's coming up in our Show Us Something Good. As we head to break, though, here is a pop quiz question for you today. It's in honor of our Browns at the bye week. The question is, what was the Browns' record 1 year ago at this time? Do you think it was 7-4? Were we 9-2? Or were we 8-3? You know what we are now. We're 6-6. But what were we a year ago? The answer when we come back.
Hey, David, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have time to punch me up or no? Thanks. Okay. Thank you for the heads up. I can't see me, though. Oh. Okay. Thanks. Great. Thanks, man.
Well, this is kind of depressing. Last year at this time, we were 8-3. We finished 11-5. If we win all of our remaining games this year, we'll be 11-6 because there's 17 games this year. Things not going as well this year as they did last year, that's for sure. All right, we wrap it up with our Show Us Something Good. Comes from our friends at Avon High School, where their foreign language and art students are working on something really special. They're creating 4 mosaic murals to put on display at the school, each representing one of the 4 languages that are taught there: English, Spanish, French, and Mandarin.
And we got to join them this afternoon during one of their workshops as they put the finishing touches on the pieces. They'll be installed in the school's courtyard when they're all completed, and it looks like these are going to be gorgeous pieces of art here.
Yeah, they really are. Wow. Very, very well done. Today's show had an art theme to it.
It did, art and food.
Yes. That's my kind of show. We're out of time. We'll do it again tomorrow. We invite you to join us at 5 o'clock.
Absolutely. What Matters Most with Russ starts right now.
Now at 6, Game Changer.
My plan I'm announcing today pulls no punches in the fight against COVID-19.
With rising cases and the new variant in the mix, the White House makes another push to get the pandemic under control. Also, Omicron in America.
It's not surprising that it showed up.
Another case of the new variant has been discovered in the U.S., this time in Minnesota, as health officials tell us how they're trying to trace it. We'll have reaction from a local doctor as well. Rescue plan. With millions of dollars at stake, a popular place in Cleveland is in debt. Brandon Simmons explains the plans to save Shaker Square and why it's so important to the city. And high school football fever.
We love hosting these games and feel like the kids get a great experience out of it.
An exciting few days are on tap as the state championship games take place in Canton, bringing thousands of fans and millions of dollars to the area.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
And good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell. We begin with some major developments in the fight against COVID-19. First, the number of daily cases in Ohio spiked again today at 9,131. And we also learned from the state health department that the highest concentration of hospitalizations is occurring right here in Northeast Ohio. Also new tonight, the nation's second case of Omicron variant has been discovered in Minnesota. And just a few hours ago, President Biden laid out his battle plan to fight off a COVID winter surge.
There are 5 key actions that I want to see us take this winter. First is expanding the nationwide booster campaign with more outreach, more appointments, more hours, more times and sites to walk in, providing boosters shots for up to 110 million Americans who are eligible for boosters.
The president also wants more vaccines for kids, expanded free at-home testing, and more stringent safety protocols for international travelers. New variant or not, Ohio is gearing up for some tough weeks ahead. Sarah Schuckman has the story.
The state's labs and our hospitals are sequencing positive PCR tests looking for the Omicron variant, but so far,
if it were present in any substantial manner, we would be detecting it. What we're seeing right now, today in the state, is being driven by the Delta variant and various slight variations.
As we enter the third winter of the pandemic, the focus is on vaccines, not lockdowns, with the White House and local doctors stressing the time for a booster is now.
And so it's just the best protection you can get.
Testing is becoming easier and more important. All international travelers must be tested within 24 hours of their departure, instead of 72. And the president says at-home testing will be free, fully covered by insurance, and easier to find in the community. Summit County has been doing that, handing out more than 30,000 free rapid tests through its office, drive-thrus, libraries, and community centers, so people have them at home and they'll use them.
We used to sneeze, have a cold, go to work, and not care, okay? And now every time you sneeze, you're like, do I have COVID? And now you're far more nervous. So if you had to pay $20 in the store every time you wanted to test, I don't think people would test as much. So being free makes it just an easy way for people to find out.
Ohio is seeing a concerning increase in cases and hospitalizations, particularly in our part of the state. It's not just beds filling up, but a shortage in staff that's compounding the effects.
We are feeling it here in Cleveland. We are feeling that wash, and it is affecting care. I think if you look at emergency room wait times, you probably have people that are abandoning care. And so we're seeing that critical point.
And as they watch for the Omicron variant across the country, we know the third case has now been detected in Colorado, Russ. The good news here is we are in better shape than we were last Christmas because of the vaccine. It is the best way to protect yourself and your kids and your family. But doctors point to the availability of testing this year, the advances in treatments we've seen, both in the antibodies and the pills that are coming to market. So while we are not out of the woods yet, we're certainly moving forward.
So there's 3 Omicron cases, one in California, one now in Colorado.
And in Minnesota.
And Minnesota as well. Okay. All right, Sarah, thank you so much. University Hospital says it will now allow unvaccinated workers to remain on the job after January 4th, reversing an earlier decision. And just a few moments ago, the Cleveland Clinic announced it will do the same thing. This comes as a federal mandate to require unvaccinated workers to lose their jobs after January 4th is being challenged in court. Breaking news from Washington, the House has just passed a stopgap measure to avoid a federal government shutdown at midnight Friday. However, it faces a tough road in the Senate, with some Republicans threatening to vote no over President Biden's vaccine mandates. Once again, that deadline is about 30 hours away now. There is both concerning and encouraging news on the jobs front. New numbers released today show the number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits rose last week, and jobless claims climbed by 28,000. The encouraging news, the 4-week average of claims fell to a new low. In Oxford, Michigan, flags are now flying at half staff following Monday's deadly shooting at a high school. And there are indications this evening that the parents of the student accused of killing 4 classmates could soon face charges. 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley is on suicide watch tonight, isolated in an adult detention facility. His lawyer says he'll fight the 24 charges against the teenager, including terrorism and first-degree murder. Prosecutors charged Crumbley planned the attack.
There is a mountain of digital evidence, videotape, social media, all digital evidence possible, and we have reviewed it, and we are confident that we can show it was premeditation.
According to investigators, the weapon used, a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, was purchased by Crumbley's father a few days before the massacre. The Columbus area sheriff's deputy who fatally shot Casey Gooden Jr. in the back 5 times has been charged with murder and reckless homicide. Jason Meade also faces a federal civil rights lawsuit brought by Goodson's family. A bomb scare today outside of the federal building on East 9th Street backed up traffic for hours after reports of a suspicious vehicle parked outside of the building. The Cleveland Bomb Squad shut down roads around the area to search before giving the all clear about noon. Now to the future of Shaker Square and a battle over whether the city should pay more than $12 million to purchase the property. Many tenants do support it, but at least one restaurant owner has reservations. Brandon Simmons has details.
For more than a year, the historic area known as Shaker Square has been in the hands of a court-appointed receiver after its original owner defaulted on loan payments. It's a process that has left many tenants and surrounding neighborhoods in limbo.
And the community is suffering, and the tenants are suffering as a result.
The property is in need of a facelift. The largest tenant, Dave's Supermarket, supporting the idea of new ownership, saying they need a roof, paint, and awnings. And now 2 local development corporations, Burton Bell Carr and Neighborhood Progress, are ready to buy the property using $12 million that would be approved by City Council. The goal?
Become the short-term owners of the center so that we can work with the community to identify a path forward.
But at least one tenant is saying not so fast, as the city would be grossly overpaying, bailing out banks in the process.
This $12 million will go right to the bank, essentially bailing out any investor, bailing out the bank for a deal that they made that went bad.
Brandon Krastowski operates Edwin's and Edwin's 2 on the square. He tried to purchase the property for $5 million, but the bank turned him down. He says that's all the property is worth, and the city shouldn't be willing to pay double.
We're giving away $6 million in public funds to a bank who says, I want this. Mommy, I want this.
City Council was set to vote on spending the money Monday, but tabled the vote until they seek more input from the community. A public meeting is planned for Friday at 10 a.m. Delaying the deal, many say, is a big mistake.
It's either do this or wait and see, roll the dice, and our community does not deserve for us to